Welcome back to the Papa Me channel. How you doing? Come on and sit down because today we're getting lunch. Well, at least that's what I try to do. Every once in a while, I like to take my employees out to a nice company lunch. Sometimes we go to fancy Italian places, but mostly we go to garbage, fast food, and other things that are very unhealthy. But today it was going to be a treat. I was going to take my boys to Hooters. A little meme, right? Go to Hooters, you laugh. Oh, we haven't been here in a while. Only to find that Hooters in the Kansas City area was closed. How, America, did we let this happen? I was completely appalled. I had been to that Hooters for my entire life. My entire life I've been to that Hooters location. It's been revamped, redressed, everything. All knowing that I could go to see some middle America women with big serve me mediocre chicken wings. It's a staple, and it's gone. And it made me think about Hooters as a whole. What's happened to it? Where is it gone? And that's why today we're talking about the downfall of the BREASTaurant. And for any of you who maybe are, I don't know, he said don't know what Hooters is, let me give you a rundown of one of the greatest restaurants on planet Earth. This genre of restaurant started with the origins of Hooters in 1983, when 6 men from Clearwater, Florida opened a place that, quote, they couldn't get kicked out of, according to the Hooters website About section. So it was a bunch of Floridian guys basically being like, can we just open up a place we won't get kicked out of for oogling the girls? Come on! The founders aimed to create the quintessential manly environment. Wings, sports, and they had no prior experience in the food industry, but decided to buy a cheap building that used to be a nightclub. That makes sense. Within a year, business was exploding. They eventually partnered with Hugh Connerty, who aimed to take the restaurant chain worldwide. They opened hundreds of locations and pioneered the, quote, restaurant. I feel like every guy just kind of did. Hugh, you good man. They were not without their many controversies over the years. And in fact, Hooters has dealt with many. Various claims of gender discrimination. What? In one case, they were sued for their lack of male employees and had to settle for $3.75 million in a nice lawsuit. Tons of sexual harassment suits and studies showcasing the serious mental health issues attached to the Hooters girls.
What, they have to smile all day?
I'm sorry, you have to smile and be a little princess all day and be beautiful? Well, that sucks. Hooters truly was unstoppable for a long period of time, expanding into ventures outside of just restaurants. In 1986, Hooters released calendars showcasing Hooters girls from all over. Purchases of the calendar eventually became a way of funding the Give a Hoot campaign in 2002, donating part of every purchase to the fight against breast cancer. And then in 1987, Hooters started a television program called Hooters Night Owl Theater, starring Lynn Austin, one of the first Hooters girls who later transitioned to Playboy in 1986. Backstabbing. It was renamed to Hooters Movie of the Week, where Hooters girls would introduce movies that would play on the program. That'd be sick. Reanimator. You know what I mean? It eventually became an SNL-style skit show, providing comedy sketches until its eventual cancellation in 1995. That's a pretty good run. 9-10 years. And then, in 1991, driver Alan Kulke was sponsored by Hooters for his appearance in the final NASCAR event of the year. They continued to sponsor various sports teams and events afterwards, like the Miami Hooters, an Arena Football League team. Various other racing teams, and the NGA Pro Golf Tour. Hooters even started selling their food in convenience stores, like with their frozen chicken wings and sauces. And in 2003, Hooters created Hooters Air as a way to advertise their brand in the skies and expand their reach. People who boarded the flight would get to experience the Hooters restaurant in an airborne setting.
That's awesome.
Complete with the traditional Hooters girls and their skimpy attire. Oh, to go back in time. Hooters girls were not able to sell food before they were FAA certified, and instead pushed merchandise onto passengers. They're just like, can I get some wings? What about this owl shirt? He's wearing like 6 of them. I don't see why one more couldn't hurt. Operation ceased in 2006, and Hooters of America lost $40 million due to the failed business venture. This failure was due to several factors, such as the cost of fuel and operations. Do you understand how expensive it is to fly a plane? I mean, like the jet fuel. My God. Airline competition. Do you think the Hooters airline is going to be able to compete with Southwest Airlines or Delta? And its adult theme puts off families and small children. By having a Hooters airline, it is awesome and hilarious, but you do completely ostracize the wife and kids aspect of everything. That's the fundamental process of the airlines making all of their money is families traveling to other places together. And if it's just the boys, let me tell you, you're gonna be penny pinching for a while, all right? But fresh off their failed airline, Hooters created their first casino and hotel in Las Vegas. This only seems natural to me. This is where I'm like, this is what would work. Created on the new Las Vegas Strip, the hotel aimed to rake in gambling earnings akin to its massively successful neighbors. Aside from the obligatory Hooters restaurant, it also filled the casino with Hooters girls that served food and drinks as well as acted as casino dealers. Dude. awesome. They were profitable for a short time, but started to see a noticeable decline by around 2009. What happened around then? Was that like some big crash or something? They were eventually purchased by Oyo Hotels and Homes, which massively changed the branding but kept the Hooters restaurant running inside. Hooters slowly began to lose its appeal due to its outdated nature of its core concept, sexualizing women. Who would have thought? Its many business ventures did not often pan out, and recently, the pandemic led to many locations shutting its doors forever. In 2024, 44 locations across 14 states were permanently closed due to rising costs and declines in sales. And fun fact, in 2017, Hooters created a more family-friendly spin-off called Hoots. And Hoots was primarily a to-go restaurant that had more modest dress code and more traditional fast food setup rather than table service. I don't like that. But I will take my men to their company lunch, and I will take them to Hooters, but we're gonna do it with some style. We will have Hooters in Las Vegas, but we will also be trying the other restaurants in Las Vegas as well, such as Ojo Locos, Twin Peaks, Tilted Kilts, and the Heart Attack Grill. Basically, we're just gonna go and see which one's best. Can the restaurant chain stay alive? Is it all just a dumb gimmick? Let's go find out. Hoo-yah. First, we went to Hooters, which was in the Oyo Hotel. This thing was odd. We parked and there was this like disgustingly dirty, dusty car with two giant cocks drawn in the dust on its windshield. That was a nice welcoming sign, but as soon as you step into the hotel, you're like, where the f is this Hooters at? They had the big branding outside for it. You're looking around, you're like, it feels familiar. And it's because the Oyo Hotel used to be the Hooters Hotel, and they did nothing on the inside. They kept up the wood paneling, the orange lights, everything, and you can kind of get glimpses of how there might have been Hooters girls walking around, dealing cards, doing whatever, but like a redheaded stepchild tucked away in the back of a family photo, they tucked that Hooters in the deepest, darkest corner of that casino. I mean, it was sad. They even had there's like a cocktail lounge next to it.
Hooters Lounge.
Like the Hooters Lounge or Saloon or something like that. Vacant. Dark. I mean, I was like, this is, you can't just leave the lights on. I mean, this is Las Vegas. And we pulled up to the Hooters there, and there it was in all of its glory. It was sad. It was kind of sad. It was actually very sad. I was extremely sad. And it made me think, why did we just fly thousands of miles to do this? I don't know, because I'll be honest, the food was never that good. It doesn't matter.
This is my first time at a Hooters since I was probably like 12. I remember one time I went to Hooters after I went to church with my mom one time. She's like, where do you want to go after church? And I say, Hooters. And I went there and I was too nervous to talk to any of the waitresses.
That's actually kind of cute, like a little cute church boy.
I did this.
Did your mom make you take a picture with him and you're like,
He's hard. He's hard.
they're slapping it around and laughing at you?
I don't know what it is about women walking around with their ass and their hanging out. You're not supposed to. It has been ingrained in your soul. No looky. You're a creep if you do. I don't know if you felt the same way, Nick. I was looking at the floor the whole time. Actually, no, Nick had a camera and we had to tell him to stop filming the girls. I mean, I was like, you need to pump the brakes a little bit here. I want to get this out of the way too. The way we're going to be judging this competition to see which is the best restaurant is: 1, how good's the food? Is it tasty? Was it worth it? 2, the atmosphere. Was it a fun time? How are the outfits? What was the theming like? And then 3, you know, did I feel that the girls were touching me enough? Were they smiling at me? Were they being flirtatious? Why do you go to a restaurant? Why? Because it's not the food. It's shitty frozen food, but you get to drink beer there. You get to watch a game, and then there's girls with come over and they're like, oh my God, hi. So I thought that would be an applicable thing. How touchy-feely is it? I'm a married man. All right. I'm just saying that's one of the aspects of why I think people would go. So are they fulfilling that part of this feels like prostitution. It's not prostitution. I'm not saying that at all. I'm going to get back to the review here. I want to say this with Hooters right off the bat. Branding is excellent. Well, first off, the Las Vegas location, when I say it was sad, that's an understatement. I mean, it was like a funeral. It was kind of quiet. It's one of those things where it's like there's a lot of noise, but there's nothing really happening. So it's just kind of like, it's a loud silence. The heyday feels gone. But the torch is still lit and we're here, so we're going to give it our all. And then, you know, we kind of perked up a bit when we saw the merch side of things, right? You see the big owl there, you put your face in this big titted girl's cutout. And that was a lot of fun. I was like, you know what? This is a nice vibe. And then we got seated at our table, and I'll be honest, I kept the napkin. She wrote her name. Don't tell my wife. This is a nice touch. The girl comes over. She did not look happy to be there. Can I at least say that? Can I be so bold to say that? Did not look like she was having a good day. There was a very anime-esque hostess that you kept recording.
No.
You definitely did. Her ass was out there and everything. I was just like, does this thing have smell-o-meter? I don't... what's your name? She was like, you can go this way. That's what her voice did sound like, did it not? She's like, yeah, you can sit over here. I'm like, thank you. Nick's like, oh, baby.
You forgot the ultimate technique. I would put the camera up to my chest.
You just put the camera up to your chest like a man holding a sword. My lady. Oh yeah, she's like, what's that? And our buddy was like, it's a camera. She's like, oh, cool. And Nick was like,
You guys walked away. She turns around. She's like, "What is that?" And I went, "What?" She was like, "The thing he has." I was like, "Oh, it's a camera." She's like, "That's really cool." So I'm like, I figured it out. They think everyone who comes to eat here is.
wait! We want to thank today's sponsor, Factor. The holidays are here, which means lots of food that you're hopefully not cooking. And you should continue that holiday spirit with Factor. If you're like me, it can be tough trying to eat better on a busy schedule, work, deadlines, traffic, food prep, etc. It can all just get in the way. But Factor has delicious ready-to-eat meals that are delivered to your door. And in just 2 minutes, you can heat, eat, and enjoy. Plus, Factor lets you eat the way you want, whether you need calorie smart, keto, protein plus, or God forbid, vegan dishes. And if you enjoy the gourmet side of life, Factor now has Gourmet Plus meals that include ingredients such as broccolini, filet mignon, and truffle butter. With over 35 options to choose from each week, you are sure to find something you like. Each meal is chef-crafted and dietitian approved. And the best part of Factor is that there's no prep work, no standing in grocery lines, and virtually no cleanup. Save time and money this holiday season with Factor. Head to Factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50PapaMeat to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50PapaMeat at Factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring the video, and back to the video. So anyways, the hostess writes her name down. It's nice. And you're like, oh, this is kind of a nice touch, right? Name on the napkin. And then all of a sudden, she's a bit of a prude, right? Too much so. I'm not trying to be misogynistic. They were wearing the jacket. Like, it was not that cold. They're wearing the jacket, and it was hiding everything.
I want to say something real quick already. The Hooters saying they're not really showing much cleavage. What is this, a sanitized? This is what feminism has done to this country. A jacket at a Hooters? Are you kidding me? You're supposed to be cold and have hard nipples. That's what it's supposed to be about.
I just want to say, if you're going to Hooters and you have things obstructing the uniform, why am I there? All right? I mean, am I wrong?
You go there to see them.
Well, atmosphere, not doing too bad. We're still waiting on our food here.
If the food is good, this is gonna be hard to beat. The ambiance in here when I was standing out there, outside looking in, does not look good, but being in here, not bad.
I think we did like wings. We tried to get some samples of stuff because usually the staples at these places are buffalo wings, burgers. Oh, and like it came with fries or something.
Oh yeah, we got the cheese fries.
And then the little cheese fries thing, whatever. And then we got the drinks. Let me tell you something. One thing about their cocktails menu is they have this whole section of cocktails where the end of the paragraph is, it comes with a splash of Mountain Dew. It's called Hooterade. And to me, I was like, this is one of the trashiest yet most compelling things I've ever seen in my life. And guess what? Those motherfuckers were good. As a child, I wasn't able to have all the alcohol and stuff, but now here we were. We were men in a Hooters experiencing this for the first time, and it was great.
Aesthetically beautiful wings. Taste is so mid. Everything's definitely frozen. They're trying to keep the ship afloat, dude.
The food was not good. The food aesthetically looks very good. You could take photos of this food all day. Everything felt like it was just frozen. Not cold, but like it tastes like a frozen meal. So the food, I was like, I would not eat here. I'd come here and I would watch a game and get some Hooterade. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. The atmosphere was kind of fun. After a while, once you get a couple drinks in you, the place gets a little lively. But once again, I don't know what kind of day you're having, but guess what? This is a ranking. And it was just kind of like, I don't know. What do you do? Because Hooters is the namesake, we have to put them at the top. I have no other parameter of the other ones, so who knows? This could be the best, right?
How is the legacy brand going to hold up against the competition? That's what I'm worried about. That's 100% AI. That is 1,000,000% AI.
All I know is that we were there. We went to Las Vegas for Hooters and we conquered our goal. But then it was a starting pistol for the rest of the trip. And nothing would have possibly prepared me for the monstrosity that was next, which was that of the Heart Attack Grill. The Heart Attack Grill is a restaurant in downtown Las Vegas that opened its doors in 2005 with the goal of serving catastrophically unhealthy food and promoting it specifically to obese customers. I fit right in. All while serving it to you with scantily clad waitresses in nurse outfits. This entire restaurant is themed around it being a hospital. The whole thing is that you are a fat piece of shit. If you weigh over 300 pounds, you get to eat there for free. They have a scale outside that you can step on. And then if you don't finish your food, the nurses spank you at the end, okay? And all the food is, it's crazy. All the milkshakes are like lard, like 50% lard. If you order wine or cocktails or something, they give it to you in an IV bag. And they're known for their octuple bypass burger. patties, all right? And that's the biggest thing there. So when I went there, of course, that's the one that I had to get.
If you don't finish your food, you'll be spanked 3 times.
If we don't finish our food, we're going to be spanked. I understand I'm a fat piece of shit, disgusting, worthless piece of shit human. I don't think I'm finishing this food, if I'm being completely honest, if I'm being transparent.
When you go into the restaurant too, you have to put on a gown, a hospital gown, like you're a patient there. And I will say this, staff couldn't have been better. It was scantily nurse outfits and all that stuff. Couldn't have been a happier crowd I've ever seen in my life in there. And I will say that the branding and the atmosphere of the place, they did not hold any punches on the theming. And that's what I like. I feel like the restaurant is a mixture of, it's got to be kind of funny, and it's got to be like, you got to want to actually sit there for a while. And I think that like the bald guy who's the manager of the place or owns the place thinks he's way funnier than he is.
I bet he hard. Oh my god, he's a power for sure. Oh yeah. He's got those weird like RFK abs. He's all red. Yeah. Oh, he's in shape. Yeah, he doesn't eat at this place.
So it's like pushed way to an extreme, but you have to give him credit for at least going that far. But it is daunting. Like, I mean, after sitting in there for a bit, you see that bald son of a way too much, and you're like, I need to get out of here quick. But a couple little things too. There's been many deaths, which is really fun when you go in and sit down to eat at this place that you might not be making it out. Like in 2011, the spokesman, Blair River, died from a pneumonia, partly due to him being 570 pounds. So they would have spokespersons for a while. They don't do it anymore because they all drop like flies, which you could just say, you know what? Bad luck. That's bad luck. But in 2012, a year later, a patient, a customer, died from an actual heart attack while eating a triple bypass burger. Reportedly, customers thought that this was some sort of staged death, and according to Dr. John, who is the CEO, I actually felt horrible for the gentleman because the tourists were taking photos of him as if it were some type of stunt. Even with our own morbid sense of humor, we would never pull a stunt like that. Other customers in the restaurant were like, oh, that fatty's having a heart attack. And the guy was like, probably like, can you imagine dying? And people were like, it's a bit. And that same year, a woman in her 40s collapsed to the floor, unconscious after consuming a double bypass burger while smoking a cigarette and drinking a margarita.
Were you watching other people eating? There was one guy who grabbed like the mayonnaise and he just squirted it each bite, like oozing.
The whole thing too is that it is, once again, it's like a joke restaurant. It is like supposed to be stupidly unhealthy, but man, it was a sight to see. Also, I think they use like hospital lighting too, so it's very like sterile. It's just like the whole thing just feels kind of cold and I don't know. Also, one of them was a fan of mine, one of the waitresses, so I just want to say shout out you, appreciate you. And our waitress was really nice too. But let's get to the actual food. I want to say this, not good. When I say not good, I want to say my God, atrocious. So I got the octuple burger and it was, I'm not even joking, it was like this big because they were all half-pound quarter patties, so it was 4 pounds of meat. They give you 40 strips of bacon and there's 3 pieces of cheese on each burger. I tried to eat one of them and I was like, I feel sick. They were all definitely like frozen burger pat, like the thick frozen burger patties that you would find at like a wholesale. Not fresh at all. It was so dry. I knew that I was not going to be able to finish the food, okay? But then I have to look forward to my waitress spanking my ass. They had like different degrees of like, do you want it soft, medium, or hard? She chose the hard one. And that last one stung, which is odd because it didn't have the biggest snap, but it did. And my ass was blistered for quite some time. I was also wearing basketball shorts, dude. Brutal. I mean, if I had to put the heart attack grill on anything so far, I mean, food, it doesn't even compete with Hooters. If Hooters is generic, I will take generic every day of my life. The atmosphere, while being fun, it's too much. I mean, it's insane. And then the waitresses and stuff, I guess for the flirty aspect, like it's a restaurant of like, it's scantily nurse outfits, but I didn't think it was actually that crazy. It's like, yeah, your tits are up and they're like short skirts, but I didn't think it was anything too revealing. Yeah, I would say it's fairly modest. I don't know if that's changed over time, but I will say just compared to the Hooters thing so far, I would say this one is just way below. Way below. Does it feel too bad to just put it at last place immediately? Why don't we, just to be fair, I'll put it at 4th. You never know. But that takes us to our next place. That was our first day in Las Vegas, and after that, the heart attack grill about broke me, so we had to wait another day. But after that, we were able to start our day off with Ojo Locos at 11 a.m. right as soon as they open. And let me tell you, Ojo Locos is Spanish for crazy eyes. It's a restaurant and cantina created in 2010 in Dallas, Texas that incorporates the idea of waitresses wearing revealing clothing, black miniskirts, and low-cut shirts that show their midriff and cleavage. Ojo Locos, I want to say this is just referred to as Mexican Hooters. I didn't say that. That's just what people say. That is in quotation. Someone has said that before. It markets itself to that demographic. Servers are referred to as chicas.
Chica from Fortnite?
Chica from Fortnite? Or Five Nights at Freddy's. It was created by one of the original creators of Twin Peaks, Randy DeWitt. We're getting ready to hit 2 properties by the same guy. Pretty good. When we went into the Ojo Locos thing, we didn't realize well, first off, I just want to say we took a taxi there, and the taxi driver was like, I've been driving taxis for 20 years. I've never heard of this place ever. I've been driving taxis in Las Vegas. I've never been here before. And not only was it a restaurant, but it's also a casino, which we were like, oh, okay, that makes sense because the first place, the Hooters, it had the, it's just like a restaurant in the casino. This was just a giant restaurant, and then like very sadly, it was just split with slot machines. There's just something about people playing slots that's just the saddest. It has to be one of the saddest things, like going into hospice in a hospital and then watching like veterans in wheelchairs hit the slot machine doing like a little Hector Salamanca, like, you know what I mean, their wheelchair, having the screen and shit. We walked by the bathrooms. We were like, I don't know if this is the right spot, because we didn't realize that we were going to be the first customers that day.
We were going to be the first customers today, and I don't like that either. I like coming into a place and there's already some people, you know what I mean? I feel like I can kind of hide. Now it's just going to be, there's the one people here. And that makes me nervous.
At 11 a.m., the waitresses were doing like a meeting in the morning, and they did like a chant.
I was going to say like morning prep.
Kind of like a get ready for work, like, yeah, let's have a good day. And then we saw them, and I mean, to say lingerie puts it lightly. This was revealing, okay? Revealing. It blew Hooters out of the water. Woo! My God!
Easily, by far the most revealing outfits. Also, I feel like I can't look anywhere besides down. I feel like a 4th grader.
And I just want to say, the ambiance so far, before we actually sat down and got into it, I was like, this feels like one of the worst ones so far. As we got into it, and as we got our server, I can't remember her name, Gretel. That's her name, is Gretel. It was, I was flustered. I was like, I cannot, this feels wrong. My wife was here, which I did tell her I was doing this, so you guys can't be mad at me. But I was definitely like, thank you. Once again, Nick with that camera.
This is like a kind of place, in terms of like also all these are, I would say, sports books so far.
Watch out, dude. And also, you know what was weird? By the time we had Ojo Locos too, it made me think about like the early 2000s of when these things were opening up. This is the same era as like Girls Gone Wild being out, and like the kind of like weird tapes and the Howard Stern show of people coming out and showing their tits. And I'm like, of course, this is a bastion that would be popular back then, but it feels so weird now. Like I kept thinking about how odd this, like I'm like, how is there not more people just being like, this is like, we can't be a part of this. But then it really shows that that's like such a small voice in the void of men coming out and just being like, I just worked a hard day. I just want a beer and to watch a game and have some tits in my face. And in a way, that kind of felt like the American dream.
One thing I don't get is it's a lot like strip clubs where it's like I'm watching a woman be naked and like am I supposed to just be hard and like get up and leave? Unless it's just like there's babes, wings, and this. It's a vibe. I'm not gay. Which I guess more power to him, but it feels like such a weird concept to me.
I know we talked about the sad demeanor of the restaurant and stuff and the extremely revealing. I mean, a girl walked by, I swear to God, I saw her. Look. We were having the cocktails, which were delicious. We're going to get more in that second. I was having a cocktail. We were talking. I looked over and I was like, almost looked like if like Homer Simpson's lip. I was like, God damn, put that thing away, dude. And then it made me even more nervous because I was like, our food hasn't even gotten here yet. All right, now we're gonna have to eat at this place. I got two lips hanging out and all that kind of stuff. You can basically see a girl's as she walks by. It was looking a little alarming. Yes, the cocktails were good, but you could throw sugar in any kind of alcohol beverage and it'd be fine, right? But then the food came. We got the wings, a burger, just to make it consistent, but then also we got street tacos, like Los Polos. Like it was just like a giant chicken that came with like rice and tortillas and that stuff. And I gotta say, the food was dynamite. Good. I mean, to the point where I don't know if it's just because we had the Hooter sauce and we wanted to put a gun in our mouth, or if because we had the heart attack grill and we wanted to throw ourselves in front of a bus. All I know is that the Ojo Locos food was awesome. Even like just standard buffalo wings, it's insane how you can taste the difference between frozen meat and fresh meat, or even if they were using frozen, you better hide the secrets to that frozen meat because it is delicious. But then also even the regular chicken, I would never with the wings again. I would just get that shit. They had like the spicy green sauce. It was awesome. Even the burger was good. All in all, it was a phenomenal lunch. I mean, to the point where I was like, I felt scared for the other competition. I was like, this is, that's how they get you a little bit. They get you hooked in on the good food. You have a couple cocktails and all of a sudden you're just like, why the fuck is this place so cool? They had a weird soccer ball drink that was just a giant tube, and you put your own beer on tap. All I know is after some drinks, some good food in the environment, and then even the women walk around with their and their is hanging out, and their and everything. It just becomes normal. It became a very pleasant experience, and it quickly, almost immediately, dashed my way to putting it at number 1, outranking Hooters in a goddamn heartbeat. Not even close. Unbelievable. If anything, it shifts Hooters down to 3 for me. I'm gonna put Hooters down in the middle of the pack now. I didn't know what was possible until this point. Here we are, Ojos Locos at number 1, Hooters number 3, and I'm putting Heart Attack Grill at 5. The 4 was a mistake. That should have just been at a 5. But we let hours pass. We left that place. Hours and hours and hours passed, and we went to our 4th location, the Tilted Kilt, which a Tilted Kilt is just a Las Vegas chain as well, opened in 2003 as a Scottish-Irish themed restaurant and sports bar. As per the theme, waitresses wore skimpy plaid kilts and tartan bras and were primarily female. And aside from the theme, the Tilted Kilt is essentially the same as Hooters, except it achieved much less worldwide notoriety. Here's the thing. We went into the Tilted Kilt. It was supposed to be, I was like, oh, it's going to be Hooters, but plaid. You know, there's going to be some bagpipes playing. I don't even know what to say. The Tilted Kilt was so forgettable. Was it not? We went into the Tilted Kilt. It's right by the Flamingo Casino.
What the fuck is all they do, stand?
We went in, and it's basically just a pub. I love the aesthetics of a pub. Nice hardwood everywhere. You have a nice bar. They were playing Linkin Park in there. I was just like, dude, this is kind of my vibe. And then the waitress was kind of snooty.
Very short.
Very, very short-tempered. Also, all the waitresses and staff were eating. Did you see that? They were eating on this table, like munching, and she was like, when do you want to drink? Another thing too is with the menu even, there wasn't really anything that made it notably like a Tilted Kilt menu. Like Ojos Locos, it's like, sure, it might just be primarily Mexican food, but they deliver on the bare essentials, and they have specified cocktails that make it themed around the restaurant. Same with Hooters and even Heart Attack Grill. Whereas Tilted Kilt, it was just, it's just a pub. If you want that, that's fine. But to me, I'm like, if you're gonna be doing this gimmick, where's just the little other pieces, right? Like a Tilted Kilt cocktail or something, right? And I remember being like, hey, do you guys have any Tilted Kilt like cocktails? And she's like, no, we have Guinness. That's the Tilted Kilt cocktails, a Guinness. That's fun. So we did order a Guinness. I'm not a beer guy. Just want to put that out there. I know Guinness is, you have to let them sit there for 7 years before you can drink it, which we did let it do, and I took a drink of it. Horrible. We ended up getting the pub nachos and the wings. Oh, and the burger, just to kind of get a sample of it.
I'm ready to leave this place.
It was all cold. Like, it was, you could tell it just got made, but it was cold. Like, the nachos were, it was definitely cooked, but it was like room temp or a little less.
Our service was really slow.
The service was unbelievably slow.
That was like an appetizer, and I feel like they made it and they just waited for the burger to be done.
Yeah, and I'm like, why don't you bring out the nachos, you moron? You know what I mean? God. So we said that we ate everything. I mean, the burger was like, okay, I guess it wasn't anything to write home about. The nachos were cold, and then the wings were just like, kind of reminded me of a little bit of Hooters, except Hooters wing sauce, I would say, is probably better.
I think I disagree. I hated the Hooters sauce.
Well, I don't know. At least it had some character. I don't know. It was just like generic, which is like, it's fine, but it just lacked any kind of personality with it or any kind of like distinctive thing that made it a Tilted Kilt thing.
They were wearing jackets too.
They're all wearing jackets, which, to be fair, it's cold. It's cold right now. We'll say that. It's plaid, and you have your cleavage out. All I know is that Tilted Kilt, I mean, just very forgettable. I would say that like the food, much better than Heart Attack Grill. So I think for that alone, and for the fact too that like I could just sit in there as a pub and just like have a drink. If it's between Hooters and Tilted Kilt, I'd probably just still go to Hooters just because it's better branding. You know, it's just the name of it. But there's no way in hell I'd go there over Ojo Locos. You kidding me? So I think it earns its place at the 4th spot here. Not bad. It goes Ojos Locos 1. We have an empty 2 spot. Hooters at 3. Tilted Kilt at 4. And then Heart Attack Grill at 5. Which we did end up going to our last and final place that evening, that night, after some more shits and some more, time to pass for our digestive tracts to clear out.
You can go to the bathroom and wash your hands.
Where's the bathroom?
How would I know? I've never been here.
I'll check the bathroom out.
Twin Peaks. We almost made this just a Hooters Twin Peaks video, but with the other stuff going on in Vegas, and since the one in Kansas City closed and we were already leaving, we were like, we might as well include everybody else. But it was just supposed to be a nation chain of Hooters versus Twin Peaks. And Twin Peaks opened up in 2005, so it's definitely inspired by Hooters, let's just say. But let me tell you something. Twin Peaks was kind of dynamite, all right? It's like weird mountain theme, like Alaskan theme, I would say.
See, this is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Go big or go home. Right?
Yeah, it's like a lodge.
Exactly. Makes me feel like I'm up in Alaska, curled up with my sweetie. But there's other big women there.
Because like the whole thing is like the girls are in like busty lumberjack plaid shirts and like cut off jeans. This is gonna be a controversial statement for men, I bet. I was never a fan of like the Daisy Duke shorts. I don't know if I like the jeans like riding up and like being like, hey, I'm gonna be just like tucked in your.
Another peak?
It is a peak. You got the front peaks and the under peaks. This feels weird. I don't know. It's like just unpleasant. I don't know why. It's fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not like throwing up, but I'm just saying. By 2014, the Bloomberg called it one of the nation's fastest growing chains. This growth continued even into the pandemic. Today, Twin Peaks has 100 plus locations across the United States and has been exceptionally popular. So this is an interesting thing is where Hooters has failed, I feel like Twin Peaks has succeeded. And I will say the ambiance. Each booth had their own little TV. So you just put whatever game you want on there, right? That was kind of sick. Tons of TVs around there for the games and stuff. It was cozy. That did feel like I was in a Alaskan movie. It was kind of nice. Taxidermy all over the walls. Not bad.
I felt like a man in there.
I felt like a man, and I think that's what we needed to feel like. That's one thing that we didn't think that we needed until the last one, was I felt like a man, all right? Sorry, liberals. Twin Peaks wins. The food was awesome. We got the burger, we got the wings, and also they had their own kind of cocktails. I got like an energized Red Bull cherry limeade thing. It was delicious. My heart rate was definitely over. Way too much there. But I think that was an accumulation of everything that's been happening on the trip so far. But it was amazing. Nick, which one did you get?
I got like the fruit punch.
Got like a Twin Peaks fruit punch thing. It was really good. Service was fucking amazing. They touched my shoulder.
Give me a little belly rub.
They gave you a belly rub? It was the first place and only place because I expected it as I went in that all of them were gonna do the everything okay? And then you do, yeah. That was the only place to do it. So everyone thought I was a disgusting monster except for the people at Twin Peaks.
Also, I will say I do like that their outfits. It's like, it's revealing, but it's not literally just a thong.
I'll be back.
Hello?
Hey, Allison, I think Hunter's been talking to the Twin Peaks waitress. I think he's trying to get her number.
I don't think he could if he wanted to, dude.
Oh.
Like, I don't give a shit. It's not gonna matter to me because it's not gonna happen.
I think maybe places have stopped doing the touchy-feely because I know that was a big thing. I think maybe they stopped doing that for liability reasons.
Yeah, you can't touch anybody anymore. I mean, to be fair, it's like if you touch them, they're gonna touch you back. So good luck. All in all, it's weird because by the end of this voyage, we had seen this gimmick done so many times. But what's odd is it feels like the Twin Peaks experience was it all perfected. Not only is it done well, but it's also nationwide too. A lot of these, I mean, 3 of these are only in Vegas. But to me, I was like, the food was great. The atmosphere was great. The outfits were revealing, but I also didn't feel like I was like the lips were popping out and I was like uncomfortable. Like I could see myself in the future being like, hey guys, want to go to Twin Peaks? To me, it fits the new role of what I thought Hooters was in my life, which was like a gimmicky, silly thing that has decent food. I could watch a game. And the thing too is that the food here was good. Food here was so good where I'd be like, I would just go back just to get the food again. It was not bad at all. So I think for that reason, I got to put Twin Peaks at numero uno. And the only reason why is just because it has tons of locations. And then 2, it didn't have the depressing casino side to it. That's where I was like, and also the hanging out was too much. Like I thought I couldn't even look up. So, But that's my ranking of the BREASTaurants. It is a dying breed, my friends. Dare I say, I don't think Hooters is going to be around like a long time. I think it's on its way out. All right. I mean, for good riddance too. I mean, do something with the menu. I don't know what you got to do. Get somebody in there to shake things up. I don't know. All I know is that if you have a Twin Peaks by you, I don't give a fuck if you're a girl or if you're just like this. I'm saying that the food is great. You got to check it out. I mean, for real. We got the Nashville hot chicken sandwich, whatever. Unbelievable. It was really good. That's our video. We got to get our company dinner, so that's nice, I guess. But until next time, guys, we will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.